And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You are tuned into the Status Network, the Lyve TV channel, and this is the Conversation Corner with your host, the author, Andrew Snorton. As we do every second and fourth Wednesday about 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have some great guests across entertainment, business, community, and more. And tonight we've got our exclusive guest who's already ready to go. But before we get into the first part of our exclusive interview with Kris10, a couple of quick things. And quick item number one, yes, you do want to stay connected with your favorite author. That's right. We've got Deeper Than Your Deepest Sleep, Thoughts on Love with Joseph Snorton for you and the poetry lovers. 9 Stories of Faith, Volume 1 for those who need stories of motivation, encouragement, and empowerment. Nothing Minor, which is a great look at not only minor league baseball, as some of the players we interviewed are actually in the big leagues, but a good section on the Negro Southern Leagues Museum. And, of course, the audiobook series that we'll get into a little bit later, the author's mixtape, freestyle poetry, spoken word, music, and more. So make sure to get at me as soon as humanly possible. And if you or someone you know is looking for a network home for your podcast, your broadcast, pop up, if you are a filmmaker or if you have an event, pay-per-view, things along those lines, look no further than Status Network. We have multiple channels which allow for different types of programming, and yes, ladies and gentlemen, a movie channel and radio station. So make sure to connect with us today and find your network home here at Status Network. And, of course, to reiterate the fact that we have a film channel, so if you or someone you know, documentary, short film, extended film, things along those lines, and you're looking for exposure on platforms including but not limited to Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, make sure to connect with us here at Status Network, Status Films. And there you have it. And real quick, we want to give a shout to the Ear Candy Experience, as they were going to join us, but they're in quarantine, ladies and gentlemen, so you can speculate what that means. But we seriously hope the entire team, you know, Danzy, Ronnie, everybody, a swift and sound recovery. We're going to get you all back on later, but they are our music sponsor, and they provide the music. And now, it's always a pleasure and privilege to connect with this, I say, creative and innovative. Those words are understatements. Kris10 is in the building.
Oh, you are too kind.
Look at here.
I'll give you those $5 later. That was great.
You know,
it's just like we talked about. That was great.
You know what? You prepped me for this. You know what? Look, I'm just following instructions. Look at here. Following instructions get you places. So, Kris10, during this first segment, we definitely want to touch base on the work you're doing in arts and entertainment, and definitely the work you're doing with Kris10 Media.
Yes.
Before you jump into that, could you give our viewers a point of reference where you're originally based out of and where you're currently based out of?
Oh my, I was originally based out of Americus, Georgia. Shout out to the AME, everybody down in, we call it, you know, Little Vietnam. We love you. Produce good fruit. Holla at me. That's all I got for that.
Okay.
Just make sure I get that together so everybody knows. Like, I connect. That's who I am, you know what I mean? Right now we're based out of Atlanta, Georgia. So we're serving all of the Atlanta area, greater Atlanta area. We travel. We are not limited to one space, but the home base is Atlanta, Georgia.
Great. Well, like a lot of people, especially when you're doing arts and entertainment, video, film, Atlanta is a definite hotspot. In a good way, of course. We're not going to talk about the other hotspot. But before digging into like the track record that you have in these areas, walk through with our viewers. Is there a moment where everyone has that moment of clarity where it's like, this is one of the directions I really need to go? Walk through with our viewers who might not be familiar. What would you say was that moment of clarity or that pivotal moment which lets you know, not only in regards to video, film, but also the arts and entertainment work that you're doing?
I think that moment I knew that this is what I wanted to do. I was, as far as acting, I was 11 years old. And me and my cousins, Fitzgerald, Georgia, shout out to Courtney, Kinder / oh, that's all the pictures. You got everybody up there. That was the best crew ever. Shout out to Courtney, my brother Corey, Sebastian, all of the Kinders, Selenia, Bob. We're all first cousins. We got together one summer, and we made our first reality movie, and it was called You Reap What You Sow. And I knew at that moment I kind of wanted to do that for the rest of my life. Yeah, kind of shied away from it, but I think it found me As far as media is concerned, it's one of them things that just kind of gradually overtakes you. You know what I mean? I didn't know that I would be good at a business until I served in a church. You know what I mean? I served in a church, was running the media ministry, and was able to build and train, and I learned so much in that arena that I branched out and started my own media company. So shout out to everybody that helped me get to that place, good, bad, all of it. Work together.
And I'm glad you brought up both of those points. And we've said it before. People see us where we are, but we don't know what we've been led through or had to work through in order to get there. And you made an interesting point regarding the acting piece, which, from having done research, it has really started to exponentially grow. But you said something that you had to put it on hold. Would you say at times when we put things on hold, would you say that, quote, was it a level of maturity, or is it like some people have dreams and it's like, nah, I can't do anything with them right now, you need to let it marinate? Like, what would you say? Because right now things are definitely coming to fruition.
Yeah.
So kind of walk through that. I'll say the delays don't mean defeat mindset that
Absolutely.
People need to hear.
I am a faith-based woman, and so I truly believe that all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord and who are called according to his purpose. And at the time that I walked away from acting, I didn't want to walk away. You know, that was the issue for me. You know, I had, reservations about what I felt like I lost, what I felt like I failed in, those moments. But now I would not trade that time of growth for anything in the world. There's no way I would have been able to do what I'm doing right now with the responsibility and the integrity that I am doing it in had I not taken that break. So shout out to my Lord and Savior. Thank you so much for slowing me down and getting me back on the right track. Thank you to my parents. Thank you to my fiance at the time. He didn't even know it.
It's funny, and I'm making sure to, keep it professional and straight face as possible. But you make a good point, because like sometimes when you put things on hold, it's because, you do need to put it on hold because there's other, let's say, growing you need to do, or there's other things you have to do. Like we always hear about the adage of a parent puts some things on hold because they have to take care of their family. Sometimes, and this is borrowing from one of the quotes from the baseball book, Nothing Minor, we forget we do have to sometimes filter out the noise. And it's hard to filter out at times when sometimes that noise can be real close to home. It's a very difficult process, but I'm glad you walked through that with people. So even though your pathway acting-wise had a few delays, delays don't mean defeat. And I think that is definitely a theme that people needed to hear, and you're a living testimony of that.
I am. You said something that just hit home. You said, like with parents, how they have to take pause and take a break to take care of their kids. But a lot of times, even in that process, we have to pause and take care of ourselves. And that's not being selfish, because what can you give if you ain't got? You know what I'm saying? How can I nurture you if I don't nurture myself? So I think it's very important that we all take pauses. Even when you're running, you're in the moment, pause, take a breath, observe, regroup, and then keep moving. The key is just don't quit. You can pause, just don't quit.
And I'm definitely glad you said that, because, we do have to, and like you said before, and we've heard the adage, it's hard to pour out of an empty cup. And like you said before, there's nothing selfish about you taking time to pause, regroup, just slow down the moving parts. Sometimes you have to rewrite the script, for lack of a better term, or sometimes like you have to practice your shooting skills, ball that paper up in a little ball, go ahead and throw that arc, let it spin around the rim a couple times, but sometimes it's like that. And I'm glad you're breaking it down, because another thing, before we get into a lot of the stuff with Kris10 Media, is everybody isn't going to understand your journey.
No.
Everybody is not going to understand your walk. Walk through with people the mentality that you're realizing that you need to have if you're going to be this ordered in your steps. Walk through with people the mentality that you have to have.
Here's the understanding, the wisdom that you have to have is a lot of times, like for myself, I talk about this one prayer that I did in one moment. I was broken at my lowest point in my life up to this point, right? Because life happens, right? But up to this point, this was my lowest point in my life. And I remember just writing, I took a couple of notebook pieces of paper and I just wrote all of my gifts on it, all of the things that I could do. And I laid them out before me. And I said, okay, Lord, if you give me the opportunity to grow in the things that you created me to be, I'll do it and serve you for the rest of my life. And he made me a promise. And the key is that you have to understand that it is God that made the promise. So regardless of who comes, regardless of who goes, God will provide because it's his word at stake. So that is the mentality, that is the understanding, that is the wisdom that you walk in. And so you don't get so emotional when people detach, and you don't get so emotional when people misuse you. You just keep your eyes centered on your help, centered on the one who said that he will do exceeding abundance above all you could ever ask or think. Stand on his promises. This is how I'm making it on a day-to-day basis. It's every single day, every single moment. And you have to remind yourself.
I was about to say, and we've heard this before, consistency is the key. And like you said before, you do need those reminders. It's just like, even when you think about like marketing and advertising, Coca-Cola didn't become a household name overnight.
Right.
It was consistency from whoever created knocking on doors to running commercials 5,100 times. So it became a habit. And to varying degrees, we are creatures of habit. And what you just pointed out in regards to your grounding, your perspective, your understanding, part of the way you get there is being consistent.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll just be blunt. There's times you don't feel like it. Like I talked about it earlier today on the live chat. Like, look, there are days that you just look into the sky, you like rolling and not even moving. I'm just telling you, I have those moments every once in a while, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yeah.
But I think, like you said before, it's about the consistency, it's about your faith, and it's about your perspective. And that will take you spaces and places.
Yeah, always, always. That's the part that gets us out of the clouds when we do have those moments and we're staring out into space and you're like, okay, not today. And it's that voice that reminds us that it's bigger than us. It's bigger than you feeling like doing this today. When you're talking about just purpose, it goes beyond yourself. You know what I mean? So I keep that in my heart. That's tatted on my heart, that everything that I do is bigger than me. And it gets hard, especially because even in what we do, we have this expectation, not only of ourselves, but of people around us, and we kind of hold these people here. You're like, hey, you're this, because now I'm dependent on you. Now I believe that you're the one, you're it. And God has a way of reminding us that not only do I have you, I'll send the right people to you. I'll send the people to you that'll stick it out, the people that see the purpose, the people that see the vision, and the people that'll fight with you, and the people that you will fight with. It's a two-way street, you know what I mean? So I've learned a lot just about accountability. So when I talk about that maturity level from that time to this time, it taught me how to be a better friend. It taught me how to be a better partner, a better business partner, a better communicator, just all around. It humbled me, okay? So God is more than just pouring out blessings. He's all around developing and growing all things, not just trees, not just fruit. He grows us and our fruit and who we are. So I don't know. I could talk about this all day. You got me right here. What do you want to talk about? Say something else. Let me know.
You know what? I most certainly will let you know. But I'm glad, like I said before, I'm glad you're breaking this down, because people, like you said before, even in parts of your journey, and I'm paraphrasing, there's people that are there for a certain time, for a season, and for the long haul. And I think, as you keep going through this journey, you see that more and more often. And while it might be surprising what role certain people are going to play, you kind of understand that's part of it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean that when things happen you don't get disappointed or frustrated or whatever, but
That's life.
it's life, and it's something that I try to focus on as best as possible. It's all right to feel some type of way, but you don't want to stay stuck there.
Yeah.
Because the longer you stay stuck there, and as you said before, if you stay stuck there too long, you're going to operate out of cloudedness and confusion.
And manipulation.
And really?
Yeah, that's the
Oh,
thing.
good Lord, have
Everybody
mercy.
has been guilty of that, by the way. Not even with evil intent.
Well, but you know what? I'm going to say this. To varying degrees, quote, all of us have said what we wanted to say to get what we want to get.
Facts.
But when you get older, ideally, you get a little bit wiser, you get more insight, you ask yourself, is that where you're really trying to put your energy?
Yeah, we should. We should.
Well, I mean, I'm just grateful for morning walks and morning prayer and this type of conversation, basically, just as a checkpoint to kind of see where you are.
Yeah.
So here we are, like you said before, you've talked about a number of key things. Delays don't mean defeat, perspective, faith. Yeah. You're making constructive moves in arts and entertainment. You're making constructive moves with Kris10 Media, especially I think back to a little bit over a month ago with the filming with Congressman Hank Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
What would you say, and I know it's a broad question, what's on the horizon, but what's on the immediate horizon in both of those lanes, arts and entertainment, and what you're doing with film, photography, media, that, hey, this is a reminder, this is where I need to be. And as much as I've been able to do, I can't stop here. There's more for me to accomplish.
Ooh, writing. On the tail end of writing an entire film, silver screen, with an amazing group of people that I actually met on the set of another film that I was also a part of. So just seeing that come through and allowing Kris10 Media to be a part of something greater, seeing that from another perspective. And honestly, I'm open to everything that God has for me with Kris10 Media. Arts and entertainment, of course, I am acting. And I try not to toot so loud because it's so humbling. Like I said, when you do take that break and then you feel like this is the part of the manipulation part of ourselves that we do with our lives. I try to create just artificial relationships to get me back in the mode of acting. And so I didn't wait on God. I didn't even pray. I was just like, okay, I'm ready to act again. I need to link up with this person do this. And God had to really show me how to do it his way. Initially, when I got back into the film industry, and it's out there, so it's coming, I took this role and, oh God. So I apologize in advance, but the role is amazing. It's amazing perspective about life. It's called Bizarro. You'll see it, and you'll understand this when you see it. And after that, I prayed, and I'm like, Lord, allow me to act, be in this entertainment, movie and film industry, and still be able to maintain the core of who I am. Mm-hmm. I know who I am. I feel like I have a responsibility to the kingdom of Christ, and that's how I lead my life. That is my core value, and he has allowed me to do that. So shout out to Tawana Sanders, who just wrote the stage play, The Power of Forgiveness. Just landed a role in that Sunday. So November the 21st, we'll be doing that here in Atlanta. I'm so excited about that. Oh my God. And it's so much. But those two things I think I can highlight today on this show. on this show, and we do a lot of promotion on our social media and things of that nature. So definitely stay tuned. There are a lot of things on the horizon, actually, but those two things are immediate, and I'm excited about that.
Wow. Well, we can definitely sense the excitement and energy. That's no act, ladies and gentlemen, trust me. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go to our first commercial break, and we come back. We're going to talk about another great venture project business she's got going on when it comes to fashion. So stick around. We'll be right back in just a couple moments.
Make sure to join the members of the Stone Mountain Lithonia chapter of teen vaccination, voter registration, and more. So make sure to connect with them this Saturday. If you are an Atlanta-based blogger or business, you want to make sure to connect with Real Women Atlanta magazine. There's some outstanding sponsor and partner opportunities, so connect with them on your favorite social media platforms. And remember, it's about the stories of ordinary women doing extraordinary things. If you are looking for a holistic approach to your health, wellness, and fitness, look no further than Born to Train. Yes, you're going to get fit, stretched, and more, and be reborn. So make sure to connect with them today and mark their upcoming event on September 11th to get connected. If you are based in Bogalusa, Louisiana, and the interlocking parishes, make sure to touch base with Complete Choice Personal Care, home health care services, private services, and more. So again, connect with them on your favorite social media platforms for your health needs and more. Picture Perfect is what Kris10 Media is all about. Whether it's photography, short film, documentaries, video, and more, make sure to reach out to them on your favorite social media platforms for these and your related media needs. Get the picture? Get it with Kris10 on the web and your favorite social media platforms. Remember to live free. The Ear Candy Experience, they are not only our music sponsor, but it's a band that you need to see the band, hear the band, book the band. Make sure to connect with them today for your music and performance needs, professionally, creatively, and energetically done.
So I always go back to that, and I always feel that Lisa is kind of guiding me. Lisa is putting people in front of me that need.
So you have the darkness here. Every hat tells a story, because everything is like I told you before. Everything is faith-based. These hats have different colors. I would love for you. Oh, there it is on the screen.
No,
Bam.
we have been present. Alpha Phi Alpha, like I said, was founded in 1906, and we've been present in front of the scenes and behind the scenes at every important pivotal moment in American history since 1906.
Entertainment, business, community, and more. Join us every second and fourth Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Status Network, the Lyve TV channel, for the Conversation Corner hosted by the author Andrew Snorton. And let's have a conversation.
Shown on the Status Network, Lyve TV, and let's have a conversation. We'll see you soon. And ladies and gentlemen, we are back for our second segment with our exclusive with Chris Kinder. And as we pivot, one of the things that was underlying in that first segment is your faith. And with this project that you're doing with 1820 Hats, it is that same underlying theme of faith, purpose, creativity, innovation, and all that, and then some. So before getting into the merchandise and all that type of thing, walk through with our viewers who might not be familiar with the 1820 Hat story, the evolution, where it started to where you are now.
Oh man, 1820 Hats, the concept of 1820 Hats, God gave that to me about now 3 years ago. It's going on 3 years ago. Wow. All right. So I've always loved fedoras. I love fashion. I love fedoras, hats that fedoras make a statement, and they've always made a statement. You can tell a person their mood when they put on that fedora, how they rock it, if they rock it this way, or if they rock it to the back. And I've just always loved hats. So I grew up watching my dad paint oil paintings and ebony drawings, and he's just been amazing. And I picked it up, art. And I was just like, I wonder if we could just draw on hats. And I think I saw an inkling of that one day. I went to a studio and I saw a young gentleman. He had some kind of design on his hat, and it was, it blew my mind, and my mind exploded. And I said, I would like to start an entire company and do that. Just do that. And that was my first thought about it. And I put it on hold. There is this African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And it just took some time. I needed to link up. So link up with the right people, link up with the right motives. And I met a girl named Bianca Malcolm. Shout out to Bianca Malcolm. And she showed me this, and she was wearing a fedora hat. And I was just like, girl, I love hats too. She was like, yeah, me too. And that was it. And then we started singing together. And one day she said, I used to draw. I want to show you something. And she shows me this book that she did in high school. And I'm looking at her art, and I'm like, this is freaking amazing. Listen, I got this idea. And it went from there. We both love God, and we both do ministry. So this had to be something that had a bigger cause, a greater meaning, something that could be extensions of who we are. And we wanted to, make sure that the name was something as well. Now, I'm not good at names. That's not my thing. You see, Kris10 Media, that is my name and media. It is simple. But Bianca is a little bit more creative. So she went and she prayed about it. She came back. She says, I got it. And I said, hey, what is it? She said, well, it's 1820 hats. And I said, well, what does that mean? Matthew 18:20. Where 2 or 3 are gathered in his name, in my name, he says, I am in the midst. And it clicked. And 2 became greater than 1 at that moment. And it made sense why Christ sent them out in 2s. And all of this stuff started making sense because finally at this moment, I had the courage to step out on faith. You have to be linked to the right people. You have to be linked to people that'll help push you and propel you into your purpose, and you can help push and propel them into theirs as well. It is very important that you share your virtues and your dreams with the right people. We've made mistakes, but at that moment, 1820 was birthed. And a lot of times they're just like, wow, you guys have stepped into the fashion industry. And I said, no, it's still ministry. We do ministry in the vein of fashion, which means we can start the conversation. We want to adorn your hat. We want to adorn your crown, adorn your head, adorn your thoughts with everything that we placed into these hats. And so when you put this hat on your head, we've prayed over that hat. We've sent the commission with that hat. This is when they put this hat on, God give them peace. God give them clarity. God give them joy. And that is the heart and the spirit of 1820 hats. So we're not just here to be fashion moguls. We're here to spread the gospel to the world in something everybody loves, which is fashion, which is expression, which is art. I can go on with that. That's 1820 hats.
And I'm glad you shared that because I know one of the mantras or themes is your hat is your crown. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I think of when I've seen the different work, the different lines, the affirmations, things along those lines, it kind of reminds me of a favorite book of mine, As a Man Thinketh, which can also be applicable to women.
Yeah.
But it's true, like your thoughts become manifest. And it's like, just like you have to feed your body, you have to feed your mind, you have to feed your spirit. So like you said, through the lens of fashion, it's it kind of is like, a little taste of Goody Mob. It's that little dose of soul food. No, I mean, but seriously, when you think about it, like you said before, it is faith-based. You're praying for people, for them to have the clarity to understand who they are and whose they are.
Yeah.
And then when you think of some of the extension lines, for lack of a better term, those reminders. So if you forget who you are, all you have to do is look in the mirror and see everything that is on your head. And it's like, yeah.
Yes.
So it's almost like it's part spiritual, it's part therapy, it's part when sometimes you have to motivate or encourage yourself.
Oh, yeah.
So it really is all encompassing, and don't get me wrong, the merch is outstanding. It really is.
Thank you.
I'm getting my coins up because I know I'm getting for the holidays. I'm just saying, but it runs deeper.
Oh yeah.
It really does.
Yeah, we're excited to be able to do what we love with what we love. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm a writer. I kind of creative license.
That just happened.
Wait,
by the way.
you act. I write. We've both heard the term creative license, right?
Yes.
So through the lens of creative license,
Yes.
we're able to make plain and make sense
Yes.
out of all these things.
Do what we love with what we love. That's it.
That's powerful. Run it back one more time for the people who didn't hear it.
How about this? It is a blessing, and this is always what I believe, because every good and perfect gift comes from the Lord. I believe it is the greatest blessing during your time here on earth to be able to do what you love with what you love, with who you love, and with how you love. And to me, that is the fullness of life, the fullness of joy, is when we can operate in love with everything around us, everything that we touch. So from Kris10 Media to 1820 Hats to acting to now being able to be here on this show with you, you've been such a tremendous blessing to me. Yes, this guy. If anybody's looking for a brand manager, please shout out and reach out to Andrew Snorton. He is the best. So in all that I do, especially with 1820 Hats, and also October the 8th through the 10th, we got to talk about that.
Yeah, we should talk about that.
We should talk about that.
You want to talk about that?
Let's talk about that.
Let's go ahead and talk about. See, I wasn't going to drop it just yet, but we're going to creatives being creative.
Yeah.
So first off, we have to give shouts to Jazzy Entertainment. Jasmine, I tell you what, if you haven't met this person right here,
she is phenomenal.
She's ridiculously energetic, insightful, creative, and things along those lines.
Her energy is crazy.
Like a good crazy.
Not
that
crazy.
Type of crazy, like you're looking over your shoulder.
My type of crazy. Your type of crazy. You'll love her. You've seen her everywhere.
Yeah,
she's amazing.
she is everywhere. She might, knowing her, she might actually be here for all we know.
You just
Jasmine,
never know.
call me, Wait, it doesn't sound right. Wait. Make sure to connect. Go ahead. You share.
She can be anywhere at any time. You just never know with Jazz. She's just phenomenal.
She's ridiculous.
Man.
But you know what's funny? And piggybacking off of the where two or three are gathered, when you think about that conversation was so organic and so off the hip, because I forget what you said, then she said something like, all right, here's what we can do.
Oh, man.
And that was basically it. So do you want to walk through? Of course, we're going to run all this stuff in September and October, but
yes.
You want to go ahead and walk through it?
Arttober.
Yeah.
Arttober is in Virginia, right? We're in Virginia, October the 8th through the 10th. Now, Friday, this young man right here is going to be blessing us with his books, his encouragement, his wisdom.
I thought that was Saturday and Sunday.
Is that Saturday and Sunday?
Yeah.
That's not Friday?
Let me, I'm going to take the rock.
I'm going to let you do it.
I'm going to take the rock.
Questions.
Well, see, I got the info like in the wee hours of the morning and what have you. You just kind of scanned over it on your way in.
Yes.
So let me go. I'll take the lead on this. And, of course, we're going to have Jasmine on the show next month. But so October 8th through 10th, Petersburg, Virginia, right outside of Richmond. So going to the Berg. So shouts out to the folks at Virginia Union, Virginia State, University of Richmond, Virginia Commonwealth, all y'all,
Yes.
So here's what's going on. So Friday, October 8th is the kickoff. It's really the fashion mixer, and the headliner is none other than 1820 Hats.
1820
So they are going to
hats.
be setting the tone, just like you're hearing the tone being set right here in this segment. Saturday is going to be kind of like our walk in the park or our stroll. So we're going to be outdoors because October, Virginia, leaves changing colors, all that type of thing. So I'll be out there, 1820, a few other local vendors, so just a nice little intimate walk. But then that Saturday night, for the cigar aficionados, there's a cigar group coming in from the Tidewater, Norfolk.
That's gonna
So that
be
means our
amazing.
folks from Norfolk, Virginia, Hampton, all y'all just
All
need to make
y'all.
the road trip. I'm not going to drop the sponsor name just yet because I mean it's official, but we're going to hit that for you in next month. And then Sunday is going to be Books and Brunch. Now that's where I'll be the feature person.
That's
the
gonna
rest
be
of
amazing.
Yeah, the rest of the time is about y'all. I'm just happy to be there.
I'm happy to be there. Jazz, you know, you're phenomenal, man. I'm so, her team. The team is phenomenal.
I am
The team is
exquisite.
phenomenal.
Shouts to exquisite.
Shout out to Exquisite. You are amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing energy. That guy is crazy. I love it. I love him. Hi. We're going to call y'all soon, right after the show.
Yeah, we're probably are going to call y'all soon and everything. We got to get something to eat after this. Yeah, I said it. But, no, but we're really excited about that. We're happy about how that's coming together. You're going to hear more about that coming up next month. And, of course, we'll have Jasmine on the show to talk about it. But it's what you said before. And even that relationship, that started 3 years. Yeah, it was 3 years
Really?
ago. Yeah,
For
it was
you-
3
you
years
two?
ago. We covered the same Super Bowl event, so that's where I met Jasmine and then Mia Forte, who
Yes.
has been a guest on the show.
Shout out to Mia.
Vice versa, Mia from H-Town. So shouts to the Lone Star State. That's where I met them, and from there, like you said, you know, you build your folks, and
Yeah.
it's just real, like mad cool. Like
Yeah.
it really is.
And Mia's mad cool as well. She had the adult Capri Suns. It's great.
Oh yeah, they're definitely straight. Yeah, thanks, Mia. Thank you. Yeah. So, but to your point, it's and it does come back to some things really do take time. Part of it is to make sure your mind is right, so you're in the right frame of mind to accept and receive. Because sometimes you can get a gift and your mind isn't there.
Yeah.
And everything. But like you said, part of it is taking time to get your mind, spirit, and perspective together. The right type of like-minded people.
Yeah.
I want to just throw that out there. You can
Yeah.
have like-minded people, but if all these like-minded people don't know how to cross the street, one of y'all is about to get hit. And I'm
Yeah.
not trying to be one of those people.
And I'm with you on that. And by like-minded people, you really don't know who's like-minded until you first understand who you are. It's, man, we live in a world full of groupthink. People are telling you what to think, how to feel, how to dress, where to go, who to marry, who not to marry, where to work, what kind of career to have. And we're in this matrix of this conditioning that is so superficial, artificial, and nothing's authentic. And so if you could, I think the most courageous person on the face of the planet is that person that has the courage to be themselves authentically. And then we'll find like-minded people. And then you can have authentic relationships, long-lasting relationships, people who can take you, your flaws, and you who can take you and your flaws and not beat yourself up. And them not beat you up or cut you off or cut you deep. But if they do cut, it's because they're sharpening you. Because iron sharpens iron. You know what I'm saying? And these relationships are people that you can be honest with without being bruised. People that you can say, hey, man, I'm not on that today. I don't want to do that. And them still love you tomorrow. I love that. That's an authentic space.
I tell you what, you said something right there, like, and I've said this before, it's one of those, you think about all the things that we're doing. If you take that all away, what do you have? And some people, and I'll say this for our walk of life, some people are going to be around you because of the things that you do or the access that you have. But if those things were removed the very next day,
Yeah. Yeah, man.
And
'Cause
if
life
you're left
changes.
with, and I'm just saying, so shouts to the folks who, if all that stuff were ever gone, they'd be like, all right, we're just gonna have to get some Kool-Aid, or some what do you call them, bologna sandwiches. You know how you used to cut the bologna into quarters and make the most of it.
They call real ones day ones.
Yeah.
Shout out to the day ones.
Definitely.
Shout out to the realest. Shout out to the people who may not have your blood but have your DNA. And that's a real thing. That's how we make it, man.
Yeah.
On a day-to-day, man, life ain't easy. It gets hard.
What you mean? There are some days that are smooth as sandpaper. Are you kidding me? Because here you are spewing out all this faith perspective and walking this and talking this and all that. But now you're talking about, like one of my favorite songs, I'm coming up on the rough side of the mountain.
Oh, my God.
Good Lord. See, you laugh now. But it's all right but I still think the world of you.
You know what I see when you say that?
What
This
do you
is
see?
like this old commercial they used to play on BET. It was like gospel favorites. That. It only came on at night. I'm coming up. Yes.
On the rough side.
And then right after that, Jesus is alive.
Oh gosh, you're right. We're definitely taking it back. But you know what? Think about it. This segment was talking about 1820, and yes,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, you definitely want to check them out. But remember, the underlying principle behind it is about faith.
Yeah.
And so for us to take our creative genius and talk about faith tonight, hey, that's where we're going to go.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do at this point, we're going to take our next commercial break, and we come back. You just stay dropping gems. And we're going to talk about this next gem that's coming out featuring this young lady, August 28th.
Doing good, but doing it greater. That's what Crave Community Solutions is all about. Connect with them at their website as well as their social media listed here to connect for ACT, SAT prep, tutoring and coaching, press and media services, and even writing and editing services so they can help you make it happen. Speaking of making it happen, congratulations to the host, the author Andrew Snorton, as he is one of the nominees for Author of the Year from the Black Only Awards. Check him out November 27th in Atlanta, and congratulations to all the nominees across arts, entertainment, and more. Stay connected with the author through these following platforms with his recent interviews, as well as his August 27th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time interview with Dope Enterprises, and August 28th at 12 p.m. with Derek Ford on Linked Up. So stay connected through his Instagram. Speaking of staying connected, reconnect with the author through the Author A. Snorton Origin Series. There's t-shirts that are already designed and more, and make sure to add a bracelet, a mug, or other merch directly from the author at the information that you see here. Add the author's books that you see pictured on the upper right-hand corner to your reading library, and don't forget about the author's mixtape, the freestyle music and spoken word audiobook series available for download on their favorite platforms. Speaking of, let's give it a preview.
Kris10, where do I begin? Soul searching.
What's going on, y'all? This piece I'm about to share isn't about to put you to shame, but it's putting you on to a piece of free game.
When they come to you, what do you do when the pressure's on you? I say you step up, grow up, step up.
Grow up, step up. Yeah, that's true.
Starting August 28th, download the Author's Mixtape Volume 5 for Thinking, Believing, and Doing, the next edition of freestyle music and spoken word with author Andrew Snorton featuring Kris10.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are back with our third segment. 3 is the magic number.
Yes.
3, we've been this underlying theme of faith, divine, Trinity, and all that type of
Yeah.
stuff. And during this segment, it's really tapping into yet another creative extension and someone who is really using their gifts and their talents. So we've talked earlier about what you're doing through Kris10 Media, video, photography, film, documentaries, all that type of stuff. You're acting. You're what you're doing with 1820 Hats. And now, from what I'm hearing, this is your second foray of doing audiobooks. Where I know where all this energy comes from. I'm asking, where does all this creative energy come from?
Man, you got to talk to my father about that. He did that. You remember those sheets of paper that I told you? One of them is that I wanted to write a book. And I had no idea how he was going to drop that through this guy who says, hey, I'm about to do an audiobook. You want to come to the studio? I was like, yeah, I'll come to the studio. By the way, you're doing it. You're going to be on it, and you're going to do it freestyle. Whoa. Okay?
Is that exactly how the conversation went?
The conversation went. I walked in the studio.
Now, this is going back to volume 4 that we did in February. So walk through. So before you use creative license and make sure you tell the story right. There is an audiobook series that y'all know that I've done, the author's mixtape, and it really is freestyle music, spoken word, things along those lines. So I had done 3 editions basically every August, because August is my birth month, and then every February because it's 6 months, and then February Black History Month. So that's the creative license right there. So the first 3 volumes I did, and shouts to Canis Major Digital on the distribution and Third Level Entertainment for everything else. So the first 3, I did 7 tracks on the first one, 8 tracks on the second one, 9 tracks on the third one. And I knew I wanted to do something different, because you can't keep doing the same thing all the time.
Right.
You have to change up. So here's what I remember. Then I'm going to have her tell the story as creatively as possible. So from what I recall, it was December 2020. We had a lunch meeting, and I was talking about the series and all that. You listen to a track, you're like, wouldn't it be dope if you brought in different
I remember
people?
that conversation.
And the original concept was to have like 4 or 5 different people, everyone dropping 2 tracks. But something said, everything that you need, you already have. So as I drove home with my leftover Mexican, I kept the box. Now, I know it is kind of crass. I kept the box in the fridge for like a couple months.
Why did you keep the box?
Well, here's why I kept the box. Because I wanted the album cover for the 4th volume to be like organic and not exactly grimy, because I grew up in Jersey, but just a little bit rough. So it's like, what the heck is this person doing? And I remember, closed mouths don't get fed. So I'm glad I got my nerve up. I rehearsed my lines 1,000 times. And I asked you, why don't you come to the studio? And you did. And I'm like, you realize you're going to record. You're like, okay. Then I'm like, but it's all freestyle. And you looked at me like a deer with your, caught in headlights. And I'm like, look, you have it in you to do it, because you already have all these other gifts and talents. So this should be a walk in the park for you. So
only I had never done that before. So that was my first time doing poetry off the dome for an audiobook. I am at this point in my mind, so here's what's going through my mind, okay? So I'm in the studio, you drop that, and I'm like, a deer in headlights, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be an audiobook. You're saying this is going to be on iTunes? So this is going out to the world. Is that what you're saying to me, right? Oh, okay, all right. Okay, Lord, you got me here. You're going to have to give me what to say. I have no idea what I'm doing here. I did tell you I wanted to be an author. I had no idea you was going to start me off with an audiobook. You did this. Oh, you gave me Andrew. Oh, Andrew's this guy that is going to put me on the spot? Okay. So it just fell in my lap.
But here's the thing, though. And to me, and this is for anybody, other people, shouts to all the poets, authors, spoken word, music, hip hop, everything, because it is a challenge to have to come right up on the spot and come up with something. And we do everything in one take. Like, we didn't like start and stop and start again. We did everything in one take. But for me, number one, I knew you had it in you.
Yeah.
And number two, for lack of a better term, and I'll say this for me, sometimes some of the topics are a cathartic release and a checkpoint to see how far I've come, but also how much further I need to go. And without going too deep, back in February, I felt that was something that you needed, but now it's a greater bridge for you when you actually physically write your next book, or when you write your next screenplay, or you do your next acting. It's like if you can come up with 3-4 tracks without any preparation, and y'all, I'm gonna be honest with you, in February, this is what happens. So I do my tracks, she steps in the booth. The first minute, I'm gonna recreate what the engineer did. That's all he did. And we all just stopped. And like you did a Herculean effort on volume 4, and when we dropped volume 5 officially August 28th, and I'm going to go ahead and say it, yeah, it's my project. However, you don't get in the way of talent or greatness. You go ahead and do what you can to constructively elevate, which is why it's really featuring you. Now, don't get me wrong, I do my stuff, but it's really featuring you.
To God be the glory. I mean, to God be all the glory. Because there was a time when I wouldn't open my mouth. I appreciate you. I really do. But I think even in those moments, when you don't know what to say, and you don't even feel like you're qualified, and then God uses people, even in your life. I know the stories that you were telling me about everything that's happening with you right now. Like, he sends me this text this morning about just talking to CEOs and owners of buildings and things that are happening, not just here in Atlanta, but in Chicago, and how it's all working together, and you know it's God. And what has happened is he's prepared you for that moment, and you really don't know until that moment that you have been prepared for that moment. And I think it was like this surreal thing that happened in the studio that day. So yeah, I'm grateful. Thank you for that.
Well, you're welcome, and like I said, I'm grateful just to be here. Grateful for, going back to volume 4. I happened to look to the right hand corner of the coffee house, and there you were, and the rest there you were, and the rest is history. Walk through with us, with being featured on volume 5. Walk through with our viewers, I'll say, the mindset, the approach. Was it similar to the first time when you were kind of just thrown out there, or was it something where you felt like, I've got this under my belt, I can even go deeper? Because you really did go deeper on this one.
I don't think I think the part of us that makes us human, and I hear a lot of entertainers say this a lot, they always get nervous before they perform. They always, and it keeps you humble. So I wouldn't say I got it under the belt. I just felt like this time I had something to say. And I didn't know how I was going to deliver that. And I had to make sure that I didn't try to relive the moment we did on volume 4, and really just be present in this moment. Because when you have a high, or, you can be addicted to the highs. You know what I'm saying? Especially as a performer, as a writer. If you've ever written a book and it was an all-time #1 selling author book, I'm swimming here.
No, you
I'm gonna get out to the other. But we can get off on those highs. But what we did in that studio, it just keeps you forever present. And so what I gave that day was exactly what I had in that moment, and I'm proud of that. And then when we did our collabs, I'm proud of that.
Yeah, definitely proud of that.
Being able to lean on you because you've been doing this, and to know that I'm now in the studio with someone who's, vetted in the game, and I can glean from that, I can learn from that, and I can literally lean on that in that moment, that it helps you. And then you realize how God gives you everything you need. So that's what I take from volume 5. Is it volume 5?
Yeah, it is.
It could have been a volume 4.0, 4.2.
Yeah. It's volume 5 basically. Fingers and toes, all that type of thing. But let's do this. If we can, I think we have one of the snippets of one of the tracks that Kris10 did. So if our production team can go ahead and get that up there, it's a short 1-minute snippet.
And this is the first time I'm hearing it.
It's the first time you're hearing it too?
We here now. I'm looking around trying to figure out how we got here now. I am yours now. You have opened doors now, and how do I put my feet to the floor now? Which way do I go now? I don't know how, but in you, I bow and I give the next steps.
Get ready to go forward on August 28th with the release of the Author's Mixtape Volume 5 for Thinking, Believing, and Doing. It's the next edition of the freestyle music and spoken word experience available on your favorite streaming platforms. Author Andrew Snorton featuring the work of Kris10.
And that, even just that short snippet, it's definitely a tone setter.
Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, like I said before, she did a couple of individual tracks. She took the lead on one of the duets. And I tell you what, I know she's in this and that. It's thorough. You need to go ahead and add it to your library. So that means if you're used to downloading stuff on Tidal, Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, Apple Music, Amazon, Shazam, Deezer. Now, I know about 10 of them. There's like 300 different platforms. But look it up under the Author's Mixtape or under my name, Andrew Snorton, on any of your streaming platforms. Definitely cop. I mean, of course, I want you to cop all of them, but cop Volume 4 right now. But then starting August 28th, you definitely want to cop Volume 5. And it's just, like I tell you what, it's a gift, it's a talent. It's using your creative energies, and again, it's a checkpoint as to where you are. And chances are, thematically, when I think about all the topics we covered thematically, it's definitely going to speak to a number of people. So, thank you for utilizing your voice the way you do, being able to help people. Like I said before, anyone that writes or whatever, you're helping people who have it here, but might be a real bit reluctant here or reluctant here. And that's where you're helping them. With us using our voices, we're helping other people to use theirs. So that's real huge.
And then thank you for doing what you do. You know, we watch the show and we see where you're creating a platform for people who other people wouldn't know could speak out and share their stories. And that's amazing. We learn a lot. You know, I learned about baseball from you, black baseball from you, and you are passionate about sharing those untold stories, and everything that you do is a blessing to many, even down to, you know, the Author's Mixtape. You know, that's just the core of who you are. So as much as you edify me, I do want to take the time to tell you, continue to do the great work, continue to be who you are. Genuine and just an all-around amazing guy. It's something when you can talk to different people and hear the same report about one person, and it's always positive. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I just want to take time to thank my mom and my dad. And,
Yes.
you know, this definitely must be the birth month, because August is such a wonderful month. No, all I'm going to say is I'm very grateful to be where I am. You know, starting here, you know, shouts to owner Jack, Yannette, you know, JoJo, Kush, everybody who has been, you know, in front, behind the scenes, have been real supportive, real understanding too, but real supportive, no, for real, of what I've been able to do with this platform. And, you know, to be connected with you know, people like you and things along those lines, it is a blessing. And you just, like you've heard me say before, you stay grounded, so you know everything comes from.
Yes.
You stay humble. It doesn't mean you shy away from your success, but you keep it in perspective.
Say that again.
Yeah, humility. Some people think humility is like, humility is just keeping in perspective. You don't shy away from your success, but you don't let it go to your head either, which is something
That's
that you
powerful.
talked about, especially in arts and entertainment.
Yes.
And then you stay hungry, because as much as you've been able to do, there is more for you to do. There's more people for you to minister to, steward to. There's still more gifts inside of you that you haven't realized. So even as I get ready to turn the page and add another year, it's a blessing. It really is a blessing. And before we wind down, and before you give the contact info, ways for people to stay connected and engaged, I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge one of our colleagues, Howard Franklin, fellow artisan in regards to music, photography, education. He actually passed a week ago today due to COVID. So we want to extend prayers, condolences, and encouragement to his family, friends, loved ones, members of our fraternity, etc. And one of the outlets in Washington, D.C. did a nice write-up on him regarding his impact on jazz and music. So I'd be remiss if we didn't mention that.
Amazing guy.
Yeah, just a great presence and what have you. So, and yeah, and thanks for all the birthday wishes too. Like I said, I'm getting there. So, yeah, it's a blessing. It really is. So thanks for all the shouts. So now, as we get ready to officially wind down, please let our viewers know the best ways to stay connected, engaged, informed, supportive of the great work that you're doing and the great work that still remains.
So definitely, my personal page, and I typically, when people ask me this question, I don't give out my personal page, but I give out the personal page because I drop faith nuggets and things that keep you going along the day. I try to drop things that keep you encouraged throughout life, and that's Kris10. Kris10 Kinder on Facebook, Kris D Kinder on Instagram. You can definitely catch us at 1820 Hats on Instagram and 1820 Hats on Facebook. Kris10 Media, that's KRIS10_media_ on Instagram, and Kris10 Media on Facebook. And reach out to us, let us know what you think, make your requests made known, and we can definitely help you as much as possible.
Okay, and there you have it. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule of moving parts to stop on by. Look forward to having you back again. Shouts to the production team and the ownership, and we will see you in September. Y'all have a good night. Have a good week.